It wouldn't be a repeat of 2016 unless we got to hear from Hillary Clinton as she bemoans the fact Donald Trump might actually win re-election. In fact, some people say he's got a decent chance. The betting odds have him above 40%. I mean, it's not quite a coin toss, but pretty close. Now, Hillary Clinton is upset because Donald Trump is dismantling our institutions. And she's right. He is. Donald Trump has announced a nuclear, what are they calling it? His execution list, his post-election execution list or something like that. He's going to fire everybody. He's going to fire the heads of the FBI. I think he's going to fire the head of like the CIA. I don't know. I got the story. I'll pull it up. But things are looking pretty good, to be completely honest. Early voting in some states, really good for Republicans. And overall, early voting for battleground Senate seats is actually favoring Republicans right now. So it would seem Hillary Clinton has a real reason to be upset. The crony establishment deep state is going to be purged under Donald Trump. But another big news, as Donald Trump does seek to remove tons of government employees and strips away some of these civil servant protections, someone's actually resigned, someone appointed by Trump, basically saying that Trump wants loyalists and he's going to be firing anybody who gets in his way and won't pledge their loyalty. And cry me a river about it, dude. Obama did similar things. He fired, I think it was 44 or several dozen ambassadors because they were political appointees. And he also purged the military. These are old stories. I can pull them up. But it is true. Donald Trump is going to be firing tons of government employees. And am I supposed to be upset about that? Listen, man, if you're facing you losing your job, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not glad anybody's going to be out of a job. I mean, people dedicate their lives to their work, and it probably sucks when you find out Trump's a gunning for you. But the size of the government is a serious problem. And bureaucratic government is also a serious problem. I'm sure many people are framing this as though Donald Trump is going to purge the deep state. The way I see it is, If it's really difficult to get rid of employees, but you keep bringing them on, then we have bloat. It's expensive. I'll tell you this. I'll make y'all a deal. Trump can fire all of these people, and then we'll use the excess resources towards, I don't know, government programs of some sort to help, underprivileged individuals or whatever. I'd rather see that money freed up and go towards social programs than government bureaucrats. But let's get into it. We're first going to talk about Hillary Clinton's view on what's going on, because I'll tell you this. Perhaps Hillary Clinton being sick to her stomach is a sign they know Donald Trump is going to win. Already memes are flying around where it's like secret Biden campaign staff being like, we all know he's going to lose. I'll tell you this. Right now, Donald Trump is getting tons of press. I saw a video up on Twitter from the Hill, and it was Trump talking about doing something. And it wasn't positive or negative. It was just a clip of Trump. Rallies are happening. Sound bites are emerging. And they're neutral to positive. We're not seeing waves of content of Trump saying nasty things. For the most part, it's like Trump just said this. We're not seeing anything from Joe Biden. He's hiding in his basement. So I tell you this, Hillary Clinton, you have real reason to be sick to your stomach. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are many ways you can give. I got a P.O. box if you want to send me some stuff. But the best thing you can do is share this video. The real way to challenge the mainstream media. YouTube is a great place. There's a bunch of people with a bunch of different opinions. So there's a lot of great channels, left, right, center, whatever. All of us, we rely on your word of mouth to share the content and get it out because we can't compete with Fox, MSNBC, or CNN. Please consider sharing this video if you do want to help and you think what I'm saying is important. But don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's read about Hillary Clinton. Fox News says, Hillary Clinton sick to my stomach over possible second Trump term. Clinton claimed Trump lives with the specter of illegitimacy over the 2016 election. It would not be a redux, a repeat of 2016 without Hillary Clinton to this day, nearly 4 years on, refusing to accept the results of her failures. They never gave up, did they? The Democrats, you lost. And elections have consequences. Former Secretary of State and Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton said the thought of President Trump winning re-election makes her literally sick to my stomach on a podcast released Monday. Quote, I can't entertain the idea of him winning, so let's just preface it by that, Clinton told journalist Kara Swisher while a guest on her podcast. Well, because it makes me literally sick to my stomach to think that we'd have 4 more years of this abuse and destruction of our institutions and damaging of our norms and our values and lessening of our leadership, and the list goes on. Well, you can certainly talk about lessening of norms because it's been the norm to have bloated government bureaucracy for a long time. But let me tell you this. I've always leaned fairly libertarian, but I'm kind of left libertarian. I like the idea of smaller sized government. I'm not a right libertarian or a conservative, but I agree with them in reducing the size of our government. So while I'm not going to be cracking open the champagne at the news that Trump wants to fire everybody, I can already see the libertarians off in the distance waving their Gadsden flags, spraying champagne all over the place as Trump says he's going to fire lots of people. I'm kidding, by the way. I don't think every libertarian is like cheering Trump on. You've got Joe Jorgensen, Libertarian Party. They're going to vote libertarian for sure. But there are lots of libertarians that are happy about this. Swisher, whose podcast is part of the New York Times Opinion Network, asked if Clinton felt any fear that Trump would go after her legally if he wins. Oh, this is so amazing. I love it. Quote, "There's no doubt that he would do everything he could to attack and punish anyone who was, in his view, an adversary," Clinton said. "And he would be aided and abetted, sadly, by both elected and appointed officials." I do not believe that if Donald Trump is reelected, he's going to go after Hillary Clinton. Your day has come and gone, ma'am. With respect, Hillary Clinton did serve this country, though I'm not a fan of what she did when she was serving it. I do give respect to people who served, for the most part. I will criticize them heavily. I do not think Hillary gets any... I'm sorry. Hillary does get a special... Hillary gets a special place in my view of politicians in that her, along with several other people, I do not believe had our best intentions at heart. I believe she was enriching herself, her family. She wanted power. So I don't respect her service for the most part. There's some basic stuff. I mean, it's not all black and white, but I'm no fan of Hillary. That's why I wouldn't vote for her. Quote, "So, of course, one of the most important accomplishments that I hope we see in this election is a Democratic Senate, where that would be the check that we would need against further abuse of power. Well, I got bad news. As of right now, it's looking pretty good for Republicans. Early voting data doesn't mean a whole lot, but Republicans have a higher voter turnout in Senate battleground states than national polling. So it's looking good for Republicans." Clinton said Trump lives the specter of illegitimacy of the 2016 election, which she lost. "I don't think he has any boundaries at all, Kara," she said. "I don't think he has any conscience. He's obviously not a moral, truthful man. So he will do whatever he can to lift himself up. And remember, as I said, he lives with the specter of illegitimacy. He knows more about how he got really elected than we still do." These people are insane. Hopefully we'll learn more in the years ahead. How much you want to bet? If Trump loses, all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, here's the evidence we couldn't find before. Bill Barr is not going after the Democrats. Trump's mad about it. Why? I think Bill Barr, he's got his problems. He certainly does. I've heard some criticisms of him, some historical context, but I don't want to get into. And I think there's reasons to criticize Bill Barr, but he's not going after, the Bidens or anything like that. Trump's mad about it. He's not going after Obama or Comey. People think he should, but I'll tell you this. Bill Barr is not the hatchet man they claim he is. He is not simply going out and arresting people like Hillary Clinton says he would, because he's not. Trump is not going to go after her. There's no evidence popping up claiming all of this stuff, but I'd be willing to bet they'll find it and they will try to crush Trump after the fact. Clinton has continuously criticized the president since he assumed office. She claimed Trump's first allegiance is not to the United States of America earlier in October. Trump hasn't forgotten about her either, mentioning her by name at a rally on Wednesday. Somebody said, "Sir, maybe this isn't good. President Obama's campaigning for sleepy Joe Biden." I said, "That's good news or bad news? Tell me, are you saying it's good news or bad?" "Well, I guess it's bad." "No, it's good," Trump said at the rally. "There is nobody that campaigned harder for crooked Hillary Clinton than Obama. He was all over the place." Hillary Clinton makes an interesting point. Donald Trump, what did you say? He's damned the abuse and destruction of our institutions. Is Donald Trump destroying our institutions? Depends on your definition of destroy. I would say dismantle is a fair word for it. Check this story out from Axios. Trump's post-execution list by Jonathan Swan. You remember that guy, right? If President Trump wins re-election, he'll move to immediately fire FBI Director Christopher Wray and also expects to replace CIA Director Gina Haspel and Defense Secretary Mark Esper, two people who've discussed these official fates with the president, tell Axios. The big picture. The list of planned replacements is much longer, but these are Trump's priorities, starting with Wray. All of a sudden, every Trump supporter started laughing and clapping and cheering, and now they're even more excited to go vote for him. People aren't fans of Christopher Wray. For one, he's not going after Antifa in any meaningful way, and people are upset about it. Also, he didn't go after the Bidens in any meaningful way. People don't want corrupt politicians to sell us out and get away with it. Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing to have the FBI going after people in politics or whatever. I will only say it as this. If someone breaks the law, that person gets held accountable, be it Donald Trump or Joe Biden. And if we do not have an effective justice apparatus, they are concerned. But what about the optics? What about stability? First comes justice. If you are scared to arrest a politician or political figure because it would look bad or be destabilizing, then we don't have justice, do we? So I tell you this, the principles come first, at least for me. I know there are probably many people saying it's probably better we let these criminals get away with it to preserve this great nation. I disagree. I believe that eroding our justice system and allowing criminals in government to get away with it guarantees that day the country has already died. We cannot allow these people to get away with breaking the law. And again, be it Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, or anyone, I don't care if they're a conservative or otherwise. You want to claim, make accusations about the Trump family and all that stuff? By all means. They were investigated for several years. They found nothing. Now we have evidence on the Bidens. Can we please take it seriously? Well, Trump's going to fire people. Wray and Haspel are despised and distrusted almost universally in Trump's inner circle. He would have fired both already, one official said, if not for the political headaches of acting before November 3rd. Why it matters. A win, no matter the margin, will embolden Trump to axe anyone he sees as constraining him from enacting desired policies or going after perceived enemies. Trump last week signed an executive order that set off alarm bells as a means to politicize the civil service. An administration official said the order is a really big deal that would make it easier for presidents to get rid of career government officials. Where can I stand and cheer for the president in doing this? I don't like career bureaucrats in government. You ever watch Futurama? They make jokes of it, the bureaucracy. Who's going to be like, oh no, Trump's getting rid of bureaucrats. What do we do? Of course, there's framing involved. The other framing is Trump's trying to make it easier to get rid of anyone who doesn't espouse their loyalty to him. Oh, please. Trump's getting rid of career cronies, and I don't care. Now, look, like I said, I'm not going to cheer and gloat over someone losing their job, but government should not be a path towards a comfy career where you make tons of money. It should be service to this nation. And that means you're not going to be, ultra wealthy. Now, there's a good argument that we need to be competitive. Government needs to be competitive, same as the private sector. Otherwise, all the good people go and make money in the private sector. And I got to be honest, that's true. Like, why would any wealthy person want to run for office? What do we see with Joe Biden? He was working class Joe, and now he's millionaire Joe after office. Same thing with the Obamas. Donald Trump, for whatever reason, I guess, was bored or really wanted to help this country. Look, he was rich. He didn't need to do it. A better example would be like Tucker Carlson. A lot of people have talked about whether or not he would run for office, and they're like, Tucker 2024. Why would Tucker leave a job where he's way more influential and he's making millions of dollars? I guess maybe once you have enough money, I don't know. Maybe some of these people who are super wealthy might just be like, I got enough, I'm done. And then they go under public service. That could be a good reason. But anyway, I digress. Get rid of the cronies, whatever. There could be shakeups across other platforms. The president has never been impressed with Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, for example, but that doesn't carry the urgency of replacing Wray or Haspel. The nature of top intelligence and law enforcement posts has traditionally carried an expectation for a higher degree of independence and separation from politics. Now, to be fair, I want to make sure I stress this. They're learning this from two people who discussed the officials' fates with the president. I don't know who that is, and I don't know if I should even trust any of these news organizations. For all I know, Donald Trump loves these people and he's going to keep them. However, as you could probably already understand, Trump is no fan of the intelligence agencies for obvious reasons. I just think it makes a lot of sense he's going to want to get rid of these people. They say, be smart. While Trump has also privately vented about Attorney General Bill Barr, he hasn't made any formal plans to replace him. And I don't think he will, to be honest. Trump is furious that Barr isn't releasing before the election what Trump hoped would be a bombshell report by John Durham on the Obama administration's handling of the Trump-Russia investigation. Durham's investigation has yet to produce any high-profile indictments of Obama-era officials, as Trump had hoped. And what did I tell you all months ago? It ain't going to happen. Do not put yourself in the Russiagate position where you get all these leftists screaming and hooting and hollering saying, Trump's going down, the walls are closing in, oh, we're going to get him, and then nothing happens. I don't think anything. Look, we got one lawyer indicted for altering evidence, I believe. I don't think the Bidens or the Obamas or anybody close to them is really going down for this, but we'll see. Maybe if Trump gets reelected, I just don't think so. Quote, the attorney general wants to finish the work that he's been involved in since day one, a senior administration official told Axios. Quote, the view of Haspel in the West Wing is that she still sees her job as manipulating people and outcomes, the way she must have when she was working assets in the field. One source with direct knowledge of the internal conversation told Axios. It's bred a lot of suspicion of her motives. Trump is also increasingly frustrated with Haspel for opposing the declassification of documents that would help the Justice Department's Durham report. A source familiar with the conversation at the CIA says, since the beginning of the Director of National Intelligence's push to declassify documents and how strongly she feels about protecting sources connected to those materials, there have been rumblings around the agency that the director plans to depart the CIA regardless of who wins the election. As for Wray, whose expected firing was first reported by the Daily Beast, Trump is angry his second FBI chief didn't launch a formal investigation into Hunter Biden's foreign business connections and didn't purge more officials Trump believes abused power to investigate his 2016 campaign's ties to Russia. Trump also grew incensed when Wray testified in September that the FBI has not seen widespread election fraud, including with mail-in ballots. A senior FBI official tells Axios, major law enforcement associations representing current and former FBI agents, as well as police and sheriff's departments across the country, have consistently expressed their full support of Director Wray's leadership of the Bureau. Trump soured on Esper over the summer when the defense secretary rebuffed the idea of sending active duty military into the streets to deal with racial justice protests and distance himself from the clearing of Lafayette Square for a photo op at St. John's Church. I'm going to stop right there. First, you see what they're doing here is an important distinction. They're already acting as though Lafayette Square was cleared for a photo op. That is not the official reporting, but Axios is asserting it as though it's a fact. This is how historical record is created. What we understand about Lafayette Square protests, the official statement is that they were supposed to be cleared out regardless. And then shortly after being cleared out, Trump took a photo with the Bible in front of this church. It doesn't mean they were related. We don't know that for sure. Journalists haven't actually proved that connection. All we know is Bill Barr said, clear out the protests at this time. The protests got cleared out. Trump took some photographs. If you want to argue Trump had the protest cleared out for a photo op, something very, very different. But you see what Axios is already doing here. Trump indicated to Axios that he really wasn't focused on firing Esper. One senior official cautioned that others who want the Pentagon job could be driving speculation to undercut Esper. But one source who discussed options with Trump told Axios he urged the president to wait until post-election to replace him. I'll also point out, if it's true that Esper stopped Trump from invoking the Insurrection Act, Esper did Trump a favor. Many conservatives pointed out that would have been a disaster. Although many conservatives were calling for it, the later action taken by the federal government was brilliant, deputizing Portland police. Well, there you go. Problem solved. Well, check it out. Hillary Clinton is trying to claim that most Republicans want to see Trump gone, but can't say it publicly. Is that a joke? Okay, maybe there is really a great realignment happening, because I don't know any Republicans who are screaming, I'm so upset that I voted for Trump in 2016. There's this viral video right now of like this 55-year-old dude who apparently is dying, and his daughter is like, we pressured him into voting for Biden. And he says, it matters to my girl, so I'll do it. And we may lose him in a week or a month. That's a story I heard. But like, if there's a person who's, on their deathbed and their kids are begging them and they do, it's very different from some guy being like, I can't believe I voted for Trump. There are stories about, Republicans who are unhappy with Trump, for sure. So maybe what's happening is there's walk away and there's a smaller portion of people who voted for Trump who don't like him. I got to say, I think the amount of people who voted for Trump and are now like leaving, like going Democrat, probably microscopic. All I see is more and more people who didn't vote for Trump now wanting to vote for him. Does that mean Trump will win? I don't know. But Hillary Clinton wouldn't be sick to her stomach unless there was a real possibility it was coming. So check this one out. I did go over this in the main story with Axios. Trump issues sweeping orders stripping job protections from tens of thousands of federal employees. Now, what are the reasons for it? Trump wants to drain the swamp, right? But Trump recently lost an appointee. Trump appointee resigns over the president's order removing job protections for many civil servants. We have a quote. The order, which could affect tens of thousands or more career positions involved in making or carrying out policy, quote, is nothing more than a smokescreen for what is clearly an attempt to require the political loyalty of those who advise the president, or failing that, to enable their removal with little, if any, due process, Ronald Sanders wrote in his letter of resignation Sunday from the Federal Salary Council. I simply cannot be part of an administration that seeks to replace apolitical expertise with political obeisance. Career federal employees are legally and duty bound to be nonpartisan. They take an oath to preserve and protect our Constitution and the rule of law, not to be loyal to a particular president or administration, she wrote. Trump hasn't done anything yet other than remove these protections. He has not fired anybody, and maybe he will after re-election. And it'll be a lot of people, it would seem. But let me take you back in time. Let me bring you on a grand journey to October 29th, 2013. Obama's military coup purges 197 officers in 5 years. We saw this big story back in June 23rd, 2010. Obama relieves McChrystal over critical remarks, names Petraeus as replacement. Why? Because Stanley McChrystal made disparaging comments about Barack Obama in Rolling Stone magazine. So is Obama firing people who are not loyal to him? Well, how about Washington Post? And this story, what's the date on this one? This is from December 3rd, 2008. Obama gives political ambassadors their pink slips. The incoming Obama administration has notified all politically appointed ambassadors they must vacate their posts as of January 20th, the day President-elect Barack Obama takes the oath of office. A State Department official said the clean slate will open up prime opportunities for the president-elect to reward political supporters with posts in London, Paris, Tokyo, and the like. The notice to diplomatic posts was issued this week. Political ambassadors sometimes are permitted to stay on briefly during a new administration, but the sweeping nature of the directive suggests that Obama has little interest in retaining any of Bush's ambassadorial appointees. Most ambassadors, of course, are foreign service officers, but often the posts involving the most important bilateral relations, such as with Great Britain, Japan, and India, are desirable locales, such as the Bahamas. Or desirable locales, are given to close friends and well-heeled contributors of the president. What was that? Barack Obama purged it wasn't 44. He purged all political ambassadors. He gave them their notice before he was even sworn in as president. And they said in the Washington Post, opening up room to give his political supporters space. And Obama fired McChrystal over critical remarks. Was Obama purging those who weren't loyal to him? Yes. And I'm not surprised. The funny thing about these complaints from Hillary Clinton and from this guy Sanders who's quitting is that Trump has the authority to do what he's doing. It's not illegal. He's firing people. So what? Don't vote for the guy. He got voted in because he was going to do this. Pay attention. So Hillary Clinton is freaking out. I can't believe Trump is doing this. Well, she doesn't talk like that. She more talks like this. Well, I can't believe Trump is doing it. I can. He campaigned on it. He screamed that he was going to drain the swamp. And now he's kind of dangling it in front of people. 4 more years and the swamp is gone. You know what? DC is a mess. Political appointees, favors, crony, corrupt, garbage. Something needs to be done. I think the incumbents need to go. We need to bring in new people. I think a lot of these bureaucrats, career, appointees, career government workers, they need to go. We need to bring in fresh faces and fresh ideas and clean that system out. You can't just let it fester. Obama apparently got the idea, though he didn't go as far as Donald Trump is planning on doing. But if you want to call it destruction of our institutions, what? Are you implying you hired tons of people who are loyalists and now Trump is getting rid of them? But they're loyal to the Constitution. Sorry, I don't buy it. I've seen the videos from Project Veritas when they got all of these people, worked in the government talking about how they didn't like Donald Trump. There are many, many people who are partisan. They view Trump as an other, not as a duly elected president. And Hillary Clinton still won't shut up about it, saying a specter of illegitimacy. The dude won. You lost. And he is doing everything he's legally allowed to do. If you don't like it, don't vote for him. It's that simple. Vote for Joe Biden. So that's what you can do. And they will. And I'll laugh when the progressives vote for Joe Biden to protect those bureaucrat jobs. Is that what you wanted? I guess they want to embolden the government. Sounds about right, I suppose. Well, Hillary Clinton can complain all she wants. She's not running. She's not in government. Her time has come and gone. And so part of me didn't want to do this segment talking about her because she's not particularly relevant. And only by doing videos like this do I give her any legitimacy herself. But I wanted to highlight this fear the establishment has. They're terrified that Donald Trump is going to get rid of the cronies who are populated inside of government. Trump is legally allowed to do what he's doing. If it was illegal, we can complain about it. It's not. And if he fires these people, so what? We'll hire more. We'll fix the system. I'm sorry if some good people lose their jobs. I don't like that either. But the government is supposed to serve the people, not build careers off of the people. I guess we'll only know for sure if Donald Trump gets reelected. But I tell you this, I think it's a coming. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimCastNews. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.